just need a burger, man.
Would you like some fries with that?
Nah, I'm all right.
Are you sure they're cooked to a crispy golden perfection?
Are you safe from the tactics restaurants are using to make you spend more? Well, be on high alert for any razzle-dazzle shenanigans as we share more of the top 10 dirty tricks of fast food restaurants.
Top 10? Mm-hmm. That's all right.
A soda with a side of mold, please.
It's great for the consumer. More bang for the buck.
Going back to the notion of freshness, there's nothing more refreshing than a nice cup of soda to go with your fast food meal, especially when it's ice cold. The only problem is the ice. The ice at restaurants often comes with some controversial baggage. Apparently, ice machines are notoriously difficult to clean. You know where this is going, right? Hard to clean usually translates to hardly cleaned. And because they're so nearly impossible to clean, it's the perfect spot for all kinds of bacteria to mingle.
This is the worst!
A study done in 2010 found that around 48% of soda fountains at fast food restaurants contain coliform bacteria, which is commonly found in feces. Yummy. Microbiologists have no idea how it even gets there in the first place, but they think that it's most likely from dirty cleaning rags or unwashed customer hands. No matter where it comes from, it's there, all right. And it's not the only unwanted thing that can be found in an ice machine. There could also be mold, because where there are bacteria and a lack of cleaning, there is bound to be some mold creeping around the corner, hidden at the bottom of the machine.
It was gross, but correct.
Same taste, different joint.
Glad to know some things haven't changed in 12 years.
Have you ever noticed that your burger from McDonald's might taste just a tiny bit familiar? Perhaps from the time you ate one from Burger King? If you have, then you're not the only one, and you're not wrong either. No matter what you order, the burger, the fries, the onion rings, or even the shake, they will all have the same somewhat recognizable taste. Essentially, they all taste like fast food.
Fast food.
The reason for that is very simple. They're all calibrated to appeal to our taste buds in the best way possible. Basically, in a way that inspires us to keep eating, so it won't be too meaty or too cheesy, it will be just right. This all works thanks to the part in our brains called the hypothalamus, which is what responds to food. It evolved to respond to sweet, salty, and bitter tastes, and that's why we crave the types of food we do. However, fast food has been designed to satisfy all of these taste desires. Plus, fast food is so highly processed in general that the flavor in it is often destroyed. So in order to make up for this, the tastes and aromas are often manufactured at special chemical plants, giving very similar, practically the same, flavors to everything. At least, you know you won't be disappointed with how it tastes.
You don't see that every day.
It's all about the color.
You don't think that could have been the pitch, do you?
If you had to think about one color, just one, that dominates the world of fast food, which one would it be? If your answer is red, congratulations, you've cracked the code to efficient marketing. By now, you understand that nothing is random when it comes to fast food restaurants, not even where your go-to item is placed on the menu. So it shouldn't be surprising that even the colors of those said menus are not left to chance. While color theory isn't the most exact science, there is still some pretty accurate proof that it might just be a thing.
I don't know.
For instance, red has been associated as an appetite stimulant, and it seems like it holds up. After all, practically every fast food chain has the color red in their logos, so it must be doing something right. McDonald's, Wendy's, Chick-fil-A, KFC, you name it. Red is also the most popular color for food packaging and is used in tablecloths and other forms of restaurant decor. It supposedly raises blood pressure, heart rate, and people's desire to eat everything in sight. Other similar warm tints like orange, i.e. Popeyes, yellow, Subway, and pink, Dunkin' Donuts, will get the job done as well.
Can I get a double pizza burger, chili fries with cheese, and a large chocolate milkshake?
Relax, take it easy.
I said easy, big fella!
Fast food restaurants are designed to make you leave as fast as you arrived, all thanks to some very specific food techniques, uncomfortable seats, harsh lighting, and a bunch of other targeted methods designed to make you eat as quickly as possible.
That girl over there has been here for like 4 days. Can you do anything about that?
However, it's not the case with every feature of the restaurant. In fact, it might be the complete opposite when it comes to the self-serve kiosks. These ingenious, rather new additions to the fast food world have been designed to allow you to place an order without actually having any sort of interaction. Instead of waiting in line at the cash to place your order, you can just hop on a kiosk and take your time to get exactly what you want. And that's what they're counting on. They want you to take as much time as possible so you don't feel rushed or judged when you're making your food choices. How considerate of them, isn't it? Well, just being considerate is not exactly what fast food places had in mind when they came up with kiosks. They were actually installed to upsell. The more time you spend at the kiosk by yourself, the more likely you'll explore the menu more and inevitably order more than you originally planned to. Studies even show that restaurants expect you to spend 20% more than if you ordered any other way.
That's true.
Adjectives, adjectives, adjectives.
I'm not gonna get into this.
When it comes to deciding what you want to eat, it all comes down to how delicious and enticing something sounds. If you could choose between a fried, greasy cheeseburger or a juicy, all-beef burger made with American cheese and crispy, fresh-cut produce, which one would it be? Chances are you're going to go with option number 2, for obvious reasons. Some words just sound more appealing than others, and those are the ones that fast food chains and restaurants in general like to use the most to describe their menus. For every kind of food, there's a whole set of cliched adjectives that have been proven to work best in terms of sales. For instance, coffee is aromatic, beef sizzles, and ice cream is rich.
This is so good.
Adding a bunch of meaningless adjectives like flavorful, tasty, and delicious to their menu items helps build expectations in their customers' minds, which makes them more likely to order them. Plus, there is a lot of wordplay going around too. Notice how fast food chicken is no longer fried, now it's crispy or home style? But that's not all. Including fancy-sounding or exotic names can also bring an aura of authenticity. Like, what's a culotta? Who knows, but it sure sounds refreshing. So if you find yourself ordering something because it sounds good, don't be surprised if it doesn't live up to your expectations.
Surprise.
Warming trays are a fast food's best friend.
That's all you've got?
Obviously, when you go to a fast food restaurant, you don't expect to receive a 5-star meal, or even 4-star, but you do expect to get a minimum level of freshness at least. That should be a given. Well, it's not every fast food place that thinks like that. A lot of places will just leave their food in warming trays a lot longer than they're supposed to, in hopes of saving a few bucks. Let's take McDonald's McNuggets, for example. These little nuggets sometimes sit in a warming tray just waiting for someone to order them. Sure, they're supposed to be thrown away after a set amount of time, but most of the time, the timer just magically resets and they just stay there. That goes for any other food item that might not be the most popular on the menu, like the fillet of fish. If you want something that's at least remotely fresh, a piece of advice: don't order anything that's not necessarily a fan favorite. But then again, popular or not, it might not even be a factor for some restaurants. According to a Reddit user, the beans at Taco Bell are something you should avoid at all costs. Why? Because they can stay in those trays for up to 18 hours. To keep them from becoming dry and crusty, water is added to them every 15 minutes. Apparently, everything is not what it seems in the fast food world.
No, Taco Bell! No!
Pictures speak louder than words.
What is that supposed to mean?
Okay, yes, words are important. They're what makes the whole meal sound irresistible. But what if you got to see the actual item that went along with the description? That could change your ordering preference. Fast food restaurants have a way with menu displays. The colorful ads and impeccable illustrations can make just about anything look delicious. Of course, we already know that the way fast food looks in advertisements is nothing like how it looks in real life. We've all experienced that disappointment of opening up a Big Mac only to see a sad, mushy sandwich half broken apart. It's not like it should even be a surprise anymore, as 99% of the time, your order looks nothing like any picture you've seen. Even though we know this, we keep buying, hoping that this time it'll look more appealing.
Exactly.
But it never does. And that's all thanks to the giant billboards with fake food and touched-up pictures that we see just about everywhere. The simple fact of having a picture on the menu instead of just a name has proven to sell more. It gives visual support to the item you're about to eat. And while you know it will look absolutely nothing like the picture, at that point you've already been sold. And they're not placed about randomly. Through studies, menu planners have learned that we usually fixate on whatever's in the upper right-hand corner of a menu. So next time you go through the drive-thru, pay attention to what first catches your attention.
You think you can do this to me?
You shall eat what they decide.
I can assure you, there was no funny business.
You might think that you have something to say about what you will and won't eat at your favorite fast food joint, but in the grand scheme of things, it turns out that most of the time, you really don't. Think about it. How many times have you walked up confidently to the cashier, hoping to only order one single burger, and ended up leaving with a side of fries and a large soda? Probably too many to count, and that's what the combo industry is all about. Let's face it, you don't really need to get fries all the time. Your burger is already pretty impressive in terms of calorie count, and you don't need to add too much to that. Take Wendy's Baconator, for example.
It is insanely good bacon.
This bad boy contains 940 calories and 57 grams of fat. That's enough. But again, as a way to sell as much as possible, fast food restaurants will offer you fries and a soda to make it a meal. And only for just a couple bucks more. It sounds like a great deal, so you think, why not? But here's why not. You're paying for something you didn't even want in the first place. You didn't change your mind because you suddenly wanted fries. It's because you saw how convenient it would be. But don't be fooled, it's just marketing. Combo meals at burger joints make up a whopping 31% of all purchases, and the average combo packs 1,200 calories, all of which come with predetermined sides that the chain decides on. So really, who decides what here?
Are you trying to deny my consumer right to make bogus complaints to get free stuff?
From Beethoven to Top 40.
Would you shut up? We're trying to have lunch here!
The next time you're eating at a nice, fancy restaurant, pay attention to the music that's playing. Is it loud and fast, or more on the low and slow side? Probably the latter, and there's a very specific reason for it. Most people might not pay attention to the type of background music restaurants play, but that doesn't mean that they're not affected by it. Subconsciously, the music can impact what items you buy and how long you're going to stay in that restaurant. A study from 2012 showed that melodious tones of classical music and smooth jazz were the perfect fit for a sit-down restaurant. This music encouraged diners to sit around longer and eat more since they have time to digest, which is exactly what fast food restaurants don't want – loiterers. It's then in their best interest to blast the music loud and keep the tempo high to ensure a turnover of customers.
You get another brilliant idea. A special idea.
It instills a sense of urgency, encouraging you to gobble up your food more quickly than you normally would. It's probably not the greatest move for the customer's waistlines, but it's the best for restaurants' budgets. Chances are you will never, ever hear anything besides fast-paced music at your local McD's.
Ha! Nice! Right?
The coffee can actually make you sad.
You people are monsters.
If you're a coffee person, then you know just how much that morning coffee can make you happy. You were having a rough morning or simply had a bad night, a good old cup of coffee should do the trick, no biggie. But did you know that ordering a coffee from a fast food joint could actually have the complete opposite effect? It's a simple explanation, really. First of all, caffeine in general isn't the best serotonin booster out there. Caffeine can make it harder for you to fall asleep, and a lack of sleep can play on your mood, therefore cause you to experience random waves of sadness throughout the day. But that's generally speaking. If you drink a small amount of coffee every now and then, there shouldn't be any real problem. However, when you order it from those styrofoam cups, that's when the issue begins.
Why did you do this to me?
You see, styrofoam can leak styrene, which is a neurotoxin that can cause depression and a loss of concentration. Highly acidic or hot beverages like coffee can draw the plastic plastic compound out more effectively than regular cold water would. In other words, instead of making you feel energized and awake, fast food coffee could actually make you worse, probably leading you to believe that you need another coffee and another to get through the rest of the day.
Can I warm you up?
Yes, please.
We've got more. Just tap or click for another great video. Hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. And hey, leave us a comment.